there, welcome to my kitchen. Today's recipe is Indian sweets, more like dessert. The name is jalebis. Jalebis are pretty much popular in both countries, in Afghanistan and India. And this is a deep fried sweet and it's dipped in sugar syrup. So let's take a look at the recipe for jalebi. Let's go to the ingredient. For the jalebi recipe here, I'll be using 1 teaspoon of yeast, 1.5 tablespoon of oil, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and 1/3 cup of yogurt, 1 cup of white flour all-purpose. And for the syrup, I'll be using 1 cup of sugar, a pinch of cardamom, this is optional. And for food coloring, you can use any type of food coloring such as yellow color or orange if you like. I'll be using a pinch of turmeric powder and some for flavor rose water. This is also optional. So let's go to the making of this. So first we're gonna mix all the dry ingredients. So the flour, cornstarch, and yeast. Add the yogurt, add oil, and for this batter I'll be using about 1 cup of water. So slowly pour half a cup of water to this and mix your batter well. I added the remaining of my water and I'm gonna mix this very well. Make sure there's no lumps. You don't want the batter to be runny, and we don't want this to be very thick as well. So if you follow the measurements, that should be good enough. Now my batter is ready with no lumps here. We're gonna let this rest for about a couple hours. The longer the better. So I'll have this rest, but I have one ready-made here that I had it pre-made a couple hours before. So I'll be using this, and just before I use it, I'll stir it. For the making of syrup, I'm using pan. You can also use pot if you like. My heat is on high. I'm gonna add my 1 cup of sugar and also half a cup of water first I'll add. I'm going to add my remaining of water to this. Now you want to make sure all the sugar is melted and this needs to be boiled. I have mixed my batter very well. And I'll be using these plastic bottles, which are usually used for mustard or ketchup at home. So they are very convenient, it's easy to squish. So I'll be filling it into this bottle to make the jalebis. Once it comes to boil the syrup and you know that all the sugar is melted, that's when you're gonna put a pinch of cardamom. And just for the color, I'm gonna use a pinch of turmeric powder. You can also use food coloring and you can mix this well. I'm also going to add a half a teaspoon of rose water. Now the best way to know if your syrup is ready is you're gonna take a little bit and feel it with your hands, and they're very sticky. That's how you know it's ready. And as soon as that is, put your heat on a low, because once you dip the jalebis, you don't want this to be too hot or too cool. So make sure this is on a very low heat and just keep it that way. In this other round pan, I have my heat on high, and I have generous amount of oil. So this part needs a little bit of practice, but a few times if you practice it, it's going to be very easy. So what I like to do first is just drop and quickly go around. One more time, drop some and quickly go around. Depends how big you like. I'm going to flip them like every 10 to 20 seconds until they're nice and golden brown. And once they're nice and golden brown, up to you how the golden color you like, and you're simply going to transfer it to the syrup. Just like this. Here's our homemade jalebis. You can enjoy this while it's warm because it tastes the best that way, or you can let this cool. But if you're going to place this in your fridge, make sure the top is covered with something. I usually enjoy this with my cup of tea, more like an Afghan tea. But I hope you guys do get a chance to try this wonderful sweet dish. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot.